إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمُ أَنَّكَ يَضِيقُ صَدْرُكَ بِمَا يَقُولُونَ فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَكُن مِّنَ السَّاجِدِينَ وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ صدق الله العظيم. My respected brothers and sisters, the subject I want to talk today is a serious subject. But I will try my best to make it as light as I could. The subject I have chosen, reflections from the life of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for a worker of Islamic movement. And the attributes of the Prophet I have chosen, if I am not wrong, and you will realize inshallah in the end of my presentation, that every attribute is a PhD subject, that people can really do whole research and spend hours and hours just talking on each and every attribute. Inshallah, I'm going to talk today. First of all, I would like to talk about the subject which was the very purpose of the life of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and which is the true spirit, the bottom line message of Quran, which is the continuous, consistent sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, which was the extract of the life and the mission of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and that was Iqamatuddin. I have divided this subject, this attribute of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in 3 C's. The number 1 is clarity. Clarity of the mission, clarity of the roadmap, clarity of the destiny. Number 2 is conviction. Conviction is confidence. Conviction is faith. Conviction is certainty. And number 3 is commitment, devotion. When it comes to clarity, Quran talks again and again. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ. Surah Saf, Surah Tawbah, Surah Fath. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوح والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه. سورة شورى. الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر وَلِلَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ. Surah Hajj. And the last ayah, which is a very obvious ayah from Surah Hadid, the portion of it which I will read. وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِيهِ بَاسٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَلِيَعْلَمَ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ وَرُسُلَهُ بِالْغَيْبِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. My brothers and sisters, this last ayah which I read, وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِيهِ بَاسٌ شَدِيدٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَلِيَعْلَمَ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ وَرُسُلَهُ بِالْغَيْبِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. This is the about this ayah. Dr. Israr Sahab has said, this is the most naked ayah of Quran which talks about the very purpose of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
So he has this clear mission
that he is here for iqamatud deen. Which ayah I read from Surah Saf and Surah Tawbah and Surah Fatha, huwa alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haqqi liyuzhirahu ala dini kullihi. Maulana Maududi rahmatullah alayhi said here, Huda here is the path on which you and me walk in our life. This is a way of life, that how should I live my life as a human being when I am in my home, at my business, or when I am as a parent with my children. So this is a road map, Huda. Deenul Haqq, according to Maulana, is that you take away all the shackles and chains you have of all the false gods, and you give yourself in the slavery of one God. When it comes to conviction, the certainty, the confidence, the faith on this very belief, the road map, the mission, the brand, look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad. وَأُمِرْتُ لِعَادِلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. This is Surah Shura, which was revealed in Makkah. And Prophet Muhammad is saying that وَأُمِرْتُ لِعَادِلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. I am sent down to you so that I can establish justice among you. And you know, to establish justice you need power. When Khubab Raziyallahu Ta'ala comes and he is in Makkah, look at the confidence, look at the certainty about his mission. And he says to him, Khubab, you are trying to rush things, but I can see a day when a woman will travel from Makkah to Hadramaut and she will have no fear of anything but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Suraqa bin Malik, he is trying to catch him on his journey towards Medina. But look at the confidence of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is saying to Suraqa, Suraqa, I see the bangles of Qaisar or Kisra in your hands. You know, last week sisters, ICNA sisters, they had their Tarbiyah program in Dallas. And I was talking to my wife and she shared with me the story I'm going to share with you about this certainty and yaqeen about the battle of Khandak. They made three groups about these three battles, you know, Badr, Ahad and Khandak. And they did detailed, you know, research. Look at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, in every story of the Prophet, there are so many messages for you and me as a worker of Islamic movement, that he was recommended by Salman Farsi Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu to have a Khandak, a trench. Look at as a leader. He did not just took that suggestion from Salman Farsi and say implement it. No. As a leader, he goes and visits the whole route from Masjid Nabwi all the way to the place where they were planning to have the trench. Now Salman Farsi, who had suggested that, it was not like most of us we do, we give suggestion and then we go on a back seat and relax. No. Salman Farsi Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu was trying to be part of every group who was part to execute this plan. And look at the leadership role of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only point which related to my speech is that when he was in a situation where the Muslims were thinking that they will be vanished from today from the planet, because there is no match between the number of Muslims and the kuffar. At that time, when they had the lowest time, Prophet was giving them hope that I can see the doors of Yemen, I can see the door of Sham, and he is giving them light at the end of the tunnel. But another side note I want to share, look at the leadership of the Prophet ﷺ. He was fully involved with his team. and he did not show his 2 stones he had on his stomach until every team member of him has shown their stones. So he was not trying to show off there as a leader that I'm doing so much. No, he was the last person had shown the number of stones he had on his stomach, because he wanted to show them that the leader is part of the team when it comes to the execution of the plan. When it comes to commitment, my brothers and sisters, just remember the story of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when once Prophet ﷺ comes home and he is tired and he gets the news that there is a caravan outside Medina, and he is ready to go and talk to that caravan, and Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha says to him, Ya Rasulullah, you have just come to home, tired, and you want to go back? If you remember the story, he said, Aisha, who can guarantee me that that caravan will stay till tomorrow morning? My brothers and my sisters, this was the commitment of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's what Maulana Maududi rahmatullah alayhi said. Maulana says that only people who can really become the Haraval Dasta, the front line of the movement, are the people they commit 100% to this cause. They make this mission the mission of their life. Allah Rabbul Alameen does not like leftovers, my brothers and sisters. Allah does not like leftover time, leftover food, leftover wealth, leftover capabilities, faculties we have, capacities we have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you and me to give the best of us for the movement. And Maulana was very clear from day one, and he says part-timers, the people, whenever they find time from their daily routine, they come and work for you. They could be your supporters, they could be your helpers, but they can never become the frontline worker of the movement. I will conclude this first attribute. We have to understand this as a worker of Islamic movement, that we have to show people who really we are. I was talking to Brother Alauddin a few minutes ago. We ourselves are confused what our brand is. We ourselves, sometimes we compare ourselves, okay, what is the difference between working in Masjid Board and working for Islamic movement? What is the difference if I just take care of my family and then I'm done? We do not even understand who really we are. That is number one, that we have to understand this deen as a deen. And this is the first education message from the life of the Prophet ﷺ. This deen is not a mazhab. Mazhab is part of this deen, but this deen is not a mazhab that you do certain rituals. Prophet did not come, and be very clear about it. Prophet did not come just to fix your salah and my salah, and to teach me just how to do the hajj or how to pay your zakah. If this was the case, wallahi, whatever he had gone through in Makkah, he would have not gone through that. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. This is a Meccan surah, Surah Bayyana. And when enemies of the Prophet are listening these ayahs from the mouth of the Muslims, they exactly knew the meaning of these ayahs. They exactly knew that these people are not here just to pray, go in Darul Arqam in seclusion and pray and that's it. If this was the case, then nobody would have resisted them, my brothers and sisters. Number one. Number two, as a worker of Islamic movement, we have to make sure that our brand, our mission should reflect in our every program, every behavior, every statement, every activity we do in the community. Our brand should reflect that these are the people who have this mission in their life. They are the torch bearers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their mission is that they want the iqamah of this deen. Now, iqamatul deen is a journey. Maulana Maududi rahmatullah alayh has given you and me a generic prescription, and we can customize this prescription according to our needs and limitations. But the definition of iqamat-e-deen will stay the same no matter where you live. You live in Pakistan, Muslim majority country, or you live in America as a Muslim minority. The definition of iqamat-e-deen is going to be the same. Sheikh Imam Raghib Asfahani and Imam Ahmad Badawi, they both have given a beautiful definition what really iqamat-e-deen is. They both say, I have combined their definition, something which is done consistently, continuously, without any break, and you have fulfilled all the requirements and need of that goal, and you have given best of you in best possible way to complete, to achieve that mission. Continuous struggle, and you have made that mission the mission of your life, and you have given best of you, and you have fulfilled all the requirements of that mission. Iqamat-e-deen is a multi-dimension concept, and I will make it very simple for you and me, my brothers and sisters. It starts, the first station of iqamat-e-deen is fahm-e-deen, understanding of this deen. The second station is application of that deen on myself. The third station is application of this deen on my family. And then this journey goes on. Then I reach out to my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters to make them best of the example for society, to rectify their aqidah, to make them understand that this deen is not a mazhab. This is a deen which addresses every aspect of your life. And we have to follow this deen as one deen. وَلَا تَتَفَرَّقُوا فِي. This is not a pick and choose deen. This is not a socialism or capitalism or communism, human-made religion that we can pick and choose. No, this is a religion given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to accept it as it is. وَقُلْ آمَنْتُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنْ كِتَابٍ. And you declare that I have faith and iman on everything said in this book. And then you go out and try to reach out to non-Muslims through dawah. And then you try to influence the society. The society and the people who make decisions for the society. And alhamdulillah, from that aspect also, the Muslim community in America has covered distance of 100 years in few years in last 10-12 years. And I think we are on the right track, inshallah, as far as influencing the society. My brothers and sisters, the next attribute which I want to talk about of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, and before I go to that attribute, you have to also understand one thing. This concept of deen, ad-deen, and this concept of iqama, there are only handful people who really have done struggle in the history of Islam. And after Khulafai Rashideen, the first person who really struggled in this path was Imam Hussein Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. His name comes. And then Abdullah bin Zubair, then An-Nafs Zakiya, then Hazrat Zaid. Then you see a big gap in between for 1,000 years. Yes, there was little bit of a struggle, like for example, there was a mantiq challenge. fikri challenge of Islam, Imam Ghazali, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, these people came and they encountered those challenges. But working for the establishment of deen as a deen, there is a big gap you see for 1,000 years. And then you see Sayyid Ahmad Shaheed. Of course, you see other people, Imam Shami in Russia. You see other people, Nursi in Libya. And in Aljazair, you see some movement. But then you see Sayyid Ahmad Shaheed. And then here comes a man, and that man was not Maulvi. That was not Islamic scholar. And that man who came in Barr Saghir, who really has enlightened the hearts of the Muslim, has shook the Muslim youth, and that man was Allama Iqbal. And then comes, of course, Abul Kalam Azad of before 1920. And then comes Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi and Hasnul Banna Shaheed. My brothers and my sisters, the next attribute, so if you see these handful people, that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this privilege, this honor to be part of that movement. That movement was the movement of the prophets and Khulafai Rashidin, and the movement of very chosen people. And if Allah has chosen you to be part of that movement, that means first of all you should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, that you will be questioned. You will be questioned about this responsibility, my brothers and my sisters. The attribute of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which I want to talk, the next one, he lived in Makkah for 13 years. And the writers of Sirah, they say the Prophet never lived for a single second life of a victim. Victim mentality is a defeated mentality. Victim mentality is a defensive mentality. This deen is a deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This deen should be presented with grace, with dignity, with honor. And this is a reflection in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He never compromised on that grace, that dignity. And we have to learn one thing, that this is a deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and me, we do not have to try to find a shortcut for it. Sometimes, people say, your brand is very hard to swallow. This brand is very difficult for people to buy. People like people who can tell them, if you read this surah, this will give you ajr of 10 Quran. If you read these 2 rakah, your status will change to this. People like those people, they can tell them the shortcut. فَلِذَلِكَ فَادْءُ وَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. This is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you should keep insisting on this dawah, an aqimu ad-din wa la tatafarraqu fi. There should be, you should not compromise. You should not try to disgrace the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the dignity, the waqar, the status, the muqam of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You present this deen as it was presented by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you do your job. And remember, Yusuf Qaradawi Sahab has said this, this iqamat-e-deen concept is a part of our aqidah. And Maulana Yusuf Qaradawi Sahab said that this iqamat-e-deen struggle is fard ain on every Muslim. And we have to understand this concept also. And in one of his books, Yusuf Qaradawi Sahab has written that our ajr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is based only on 2 things: our sincere intention and our effort. Our result, our reward is not based on the result of our effort. Try to understand this, that if I have sincere intention and I give best of me for this struggle, even if I will achieve 10%, I will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like somebody who has achieved 100% of this goal. So my limitation of capacity or circumstances or resources will not eliminate my reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as I have the right intention and I am giving full of my capacity and energy for this deen. The third thing which I would like to talk here, my brothers and my sisters, that whatever Prophet ﷺ had taught to his companion, this was not just a lip service. Rather, this had biqalat al-arabu amanna. You know, this is the ayah from Surah Hujurat. قالت الأعراب أما قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. Arabi says that he has iman. Tell him you have just accepted Islam. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. This iman has not reached to your heart. One of the beautiful way of the Prophet ﷺ teachings was that he made this deen, aqidah, belief, part of their blood. And this is very important, my brother. तेरे ज़मीर पे जब तक ना हो नुज़ूल किताब, गिराह कुशा है ना राजी ना साहिबे कशाफ. Let me say this here again. तेरे ज़मीर पे जब तक ना हो नुज़ूल किताब, गिराह कुशा है न राजी न साहिबे कशाफ. What here the poet is saying, that until and unless this Quran, this message goes to your heart, even Imam Razi, the most genius man, who can give you the logic for everything, even if Imam Razi comes or Zamakhshari comes, who has written this tafsir, Kashaf, even these people cannot guide you. They cannot move you. My brothers and sisters, this is basically that we have to understand that Prophet ﷺ made this deen part of their blood. So whatever they were saying, they were actually believing all this from their heart. And when this belief goes in the heart, it becomes easy to practice the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ رُؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. In Surah Safat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and look at Ibrahim. When Ibrahim was acting as a muhsin, the sincere friend, the one who is willing to fulfill the dream according to the spirit of the dream, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling this sacrifice of him, inna kadhalika najzil muhsinin. That's how we reward our muhsinin, the people who are sincere, people who are doing their amal, their deed at the level of ihsan. What is the meaning of this? He is trying to sacrifice his son, and Allah is calling it a reward. Why is that? The reason is, brothers and sisters, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing here that if you become muhsin and you try to do your best and you give your best, Allah can make every difficult thing very easy for you. Even sacrificing your son becomes very easy for you. So this one becomes part of our and I will share with you some of the poetry. I don't know how many of us understand Urdu, and I am not sure this is working or not. It's working. It's working? Very fast. Let me share some of the poetry of Iqbal on this, what I just said. तेरे दरिया में तूफां क्यों नहीं है, खुदी तेरी मुसलमान क्यों नहीं है, खुदा तुझे किसी तूफान से आशना कर दे कि तेरे बहर की मौजों में इस्तराब नहीं, सजदों से तेरे क्या हुआ सदियां गुजर गईं, दुनिया तेरी बदल दे वो सजदा तलाश कर. Iqbal is basically, he goes on and on. Yaqeen पैदा कर ए नादां, यकीन से हाथ आती है वो दरवेशी के जिसके सामने झुकती है फगफूरी. If you really develop this confidence, this faith, this commitment, this certainty, even kings will come and bow down in front of you. The next attribute which I would like to talk today is, and this was a beautiful way of teaching of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that he was diverting attention of everything towards akhirah. Rabi bin Amir, who was the nephew of Umar Radiyallahu Ta'ala anhu, when he goes to the palace of Rustam, and Rustam asked him, what are the teachings of your prophet? And he said 3 things. And these 3 things really have deep meanings. And I will just share with you very quickly. The first thing he said, that Prophet Muhammad, what he did to us, he has taken us away from the slavery of all the false gods and has given us in the slavery of one true God. Number 2, he has taken us away from the difficulties and narrowness of all the adyan, and he has introduced to us justice of Islam. What does that mean? As a human, this is our history. We make people's life difficult. People like difficult living as a religious person or as a human being. So what he is referring here, these adyan, the ways of life, these road maps, the path to walk in the life, these adyan has made a difficult life for us. Bani Israel has put restrictions on them which Allah never prescribed for them. Bani Israel made difficult for people to practice the deen. Same thing was done by Christianity. And unfortunately, same thing is happening by the Muslims today. That we are making deen difficult for people. And I shared this last week, this story. Maulana Abul Hasan al-Nadwi Sahab, Rahmatullah Alayh, who we call the Maududi of India, he instructed Maulana Taqi Usmani in Makkah. And this is the story narrated by Taqi Usmani. And Maulana said to him that I recommend to you, I beg you, I suggest to you, make deen easy for people. That does not mean that you make halal haram or haram halal, but really there are many things this deen has which we have not seen. And if you really want to smell the true fragrance of this deen, and as I travel